Hi, so today we're going to solve the JavaScript part of the paper 4 of the Information and Technology February-March 2023 Cambridge International exam. For this, we are going to use Notepad++ as the text editor. And I always recommend you to have as reference the JavaScript tutorial from W3 Schools, so you can check all the commands I'm going to use, the syntax, and practice with if you've got any doubts. So let's go and start doing it. The JavaScript on this exam was at the end, and it says task 4, open the file GS task HTML in both a browser and in a text editor. So I recommend you to do this. Open it in a browser to see what they provide, and open it in a text editor to see the code. And I'll explain some part of it. So this is my file. I'm going to right click, open it with Chrome. And I'm going to right click and open it with Notepad++. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. We have a sales recording form. Let's try and to understand what it does. There's an option here where we can choose the day. Then we have some hours, some cells where we can write something. Then the afternoon hours, some cells where we can write something. Morning sales, afternoon sales, total sales. So supposedly morning sales will probably be the ones at the top, afternoon the ones at the bottom, and then a bottom here that, which as always does nothing yet. We will probably have to program that. Let's look at the code. We have an HTML file with a head, some styles here, and in the body we have a div, which is a box with some titles, and here we have the select part, the HTML tag select. While you're doing this, if you have any doubts with the HTML, you can also go to the HTML part and check whatever you need here. And if you don't understand the select, where you can go there and you can go to the form elements and you have the select. And if you go to select option, if you go to select, you've got here how it works, examples and explanation. Okay, so always try to start it with this, it's easier. So basically the select has an ID, which I'll probably have to use afterwards in my JavaScript. It has the options Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday with the value and the HTML so that it shows the name. Then we have another title and we have a table here, which is probably the rows that we had before. The first row contains these cells with the hours. Second row contains my input, which is this is the input boxes. And as you see, the input boxes have ID too, and they're type numbers. So if we click here, it's going to decrease and increase the numbers. So then we have another row with the title, another row with the afternoon hours, the same with the afternoon hours. Then the morning row with the titles of the morning, afternoon, and total sales. And then we have another row with the AM total, PM total, and total here. And as it's got an ID, I'll probably have to write something there. And the bottom that we have to use. Okay, so let's look at the question paper and see what we need to do. Amend the click to total sales button code and add JavaScript so that when the button is clicked, the total sales recorded for each time period are displayed in the cells as shown. So how should we start with this? Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to amend the button so that it does something. In JavaScript, the code is normally run if we don't insert it into a function. So what we need to write is a function that is activated when we click the button. You can take a look for this at the events in JavaScript here. And you see that you have the events at the bottom here. Yeah, so the events can be on click, on mouse over, on mouse out, on change, and unload. Okay, so we're going to use several of these events today, and for the button we're going to use on click. what are we going to do? We're going to go to the bottom, and here, anywhere in the HTML tag of the bottom, we're going to write onClick, and we will execute a function which we're going to call sales totals. The name here is absolutely up to you. You can use whatever name you want. Remember to put these brackets here. Functions always have those brackets. And then I'm going to write my JavaScript. Where should I write the JavaScript? Well, I can put it anywhere I want, but the best way, if it's not in another file, is either in the footer. We don't have a footer here, so I'm not going to use it, or in the header. The header is not ideal. Remember, it makes it slower, but if they've already added the styles there, and I can do it. So JavaScript goes between script tags, opening and closing script. I always open and close my tags so that I don't remember it. And then I'm going to write a function, so that goes with the name function, and I've got to copy exactly the same name I used before. So in order to make it faster and not make mistakes, I'm just going to select copy and select paste. Okay, and everything in the function is going to go between these key brackets. Okay, so in order to know if this is working or not, and not get into further trouble, I'm going to do something very basic. For example, I am going to console log hello, it works. So this is only just to make sure that whatever I'm doing in the bottom works, and so I'm not wasting my time. So I go to my web page, remember to reload everything, and I'm going to right click here and inspect and use the console. First of all, this is good news because the console doesn't show any error, and that's good news. Next thing, I'm going to click on the button and see if when I click on the button, my function is activated. Hello, it works. So that's perfect. So already I know that my function is working, and this is a good thing to do, and then we can go on. So what is the next thing we have to do? When we click on the button, my JavaScript code has to see what at all the hours here, and at them here in the morning sales figure. So in order to do that, I basically have to recollect whatever is being written in these boxes. So I'm going to save all those things in a variable. Okay, I could do it directly, but I like to do things in an ordered fashion. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to see if if I can grab that code. In order to grab code, we do document get element by ID, which you can find here in the DOM. The DOM is whatever is shown in the web page, and if you click on document, you get document get element by ID. Okay, be careful, you have to get this write it exactly as it is. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. You have to remember exactly how that is written. Document dot get element by ID. And then in brackets, I want the ID of the element I want to obtain the data from. In this case, it's this first box. I can look at it in the code. If you don't really know how to look at it in code, in the inspector here in elements, you can click on the arrow, click there, and it takes you exactly to the element you want. And as you see, it's called AM8. So it's basically this one, this one here. Okay, so you get AM 8, 9, 10, 11, and PM 12 are these boxes over here. Okay, so let's grab whatever is written there and try if it works on one of them. AM 8. And what I want to obtain, because get element by ID, we can do various things with this command. I want to get the value of that box. Okay, and where am I going to store it? I'm going to store it in a variable which I'm going to call morning 8, for example. Okay. It can be AM8. It can be any name. And the only thing I want to do before I go on is to see if this works. So I'm going to save it. Oh, and how do I know if it works? Well, I am going to put a button, an alert button, for example, and display that variable. So if it works, it's going to save it in the variable, and I'm going to see it on my screen. So reload, save something here, for example, 87. Click, and that's 87. So it works. It has grabbed whatever is written here, and it's saving it in that variable. Once I know that this works, I can go on, and I know it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So I'm going to save it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's AM8, AM9, AM10. Again, these names can be, I'm going to call it 11, and then that's PM12. Okay, and this is going to be AM10, AM11, no, that's going to be 10, 9, 10, 11, and the last one is PM12. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another variable called, so if you do it correctly, variables in, that works, but if you want to do it correctly, variables in JavaScript have to be declared. So I'm going to declare them and put the value in the same line. So AM total is going to be the addition of all these variables here, plus AM9 plus AM10 plus okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that should work. And again, in order to know if it works, I am going to display the total on my alert box. At the end, I'm not going to show these alert boxes, but I need them in order to know if my program works. Reload, and I'm going to put something easy here, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 6 and 4 is 10, 3 and that's 15, that's 20. Okay, so if I click here, okay, this is something which is very common. What has happened here? It's basically it basically got all those numbers, and it did not add them. It put them together. Why? It did a concatenate instead of an addition. Why? Because the document get element by ID value is grabbing the values and taking them as text. I don't want them as text. I want them as numbers. So I'm going to use the number function, which comes with JavaScript, and I'm going to, when I grab those values, convert them into numbers. I just need to convert the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values, number. Okay, and now as they were text, it did a concatenate with the plus. Now it should do an addition. So I'm going to go back, reload, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, click, 20, it's working. So that's great, because I now can do the same thing with the afternoon. So I'm going to copy this and amend it. It's going to go PM, what are the values? PM 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be easy because they're all the name PM. I could call it like this, but that's the name of the ID. I don't like to use the same one we could. So I'm just going to do PM1, PM2, cost me no trouble, PM3, PM4, PM5, and that's the PM total. I don't need the alerts to know they're working. This addition has to be the addition of the afternoon hours. We have to be very careful when we copy things. They need to be changed. And we can't leave code from the other parts there. Okay. And now we have to change this to PM, I think it was PM1, PM2. See, Notepad++ recognizes what you're trying to do more or less and helps you. PM3, PM4, and PM5. Okay, so now I've got it working, supposedly. What do I need to do now? So now these hours here have to be written here. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to use again my document getElementById. Which is great. And as you see, this is helping me. But what I'm going to do now is, instead of using it to grab a value from the web page, I'm going to use it to write something somewhere in the web page, where I want to write it in this box here. What's it called? I'm going to spect. It's called AM total. So I'm going to write getElementById AM total, and I'm going to write something there. How do we write that? Inner HTML. So again, you can check that. I think it is up here in the output, inner HTML option. Okay. Be very careful how it's written. And what do I want to write there? Well, I want to write my AM total. Oops, in this case, as you see, I chose the same variable. Well, you see, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to copy this. And it's probably called PM total. I'm going to risk it and then check. PM total. Let me check. PM total. Okay. So let's see if that works. Reload. Close this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So that this is writing. Once I click there, it wrote the total of the AM there, and that's the 2138.45. Correct. Okay. So it's working. So what do I have to do now? Write the total sales. That's going to be easy. And basically, I'm not even going to use a variable here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write, I think it was called total. And what am I going to write there? AM total plus PM total. So I'm not going to even use a variable there. Let's check this again. Let's use some other numbers. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, reload this, sorry. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which I know is 45. Then that'll be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Click here. First one is 45, correct. Second one is 70, probably correct. That's 25, 30, 40, 54, 60, 70, correct. And now that's the addition of both, which is 30, there's 115, that's correct. So it's working, okay? And it wasn't really too difficult. Let me check the code again. Function, where we selected and saved in variables the boxes for the morning hours and added them up in another variable. Did the same in the afternoon hours. Use the inner HTML to write the value in the appropriate boxes, and then the value of the total. And this has taken me, with the explanations and everything, something like 15 minutes. Okay, so let's look at the question paper, see what else we have to do. Amend the selection code and add JavaScript so that when a new day is selected, the data in all the cells is clear. So whenever we choose something here in the box, everything is cleared. Okay, so I'm going to use another event from what we saw previously. Remember, here in events, we're going to use an event called onChange. So here on my select, I'm going to use onChange, and onChange I'm going to call another function which is called clear page. Okay, and I'm going to create another function here, function clear page. And what am I going to do? I'm going to basically reload the page. And I'm going to use a command that said from the browser with Windows location, and I'm going to basically reload it. And you can check this here in Windows location, the reload method, which reloads the current document. Okay, so basically I'm just going to do this, Windows location reload. I save this, I reload my page, I write something 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, click, it does this. If I now select something else, my page is reloaded and everything is empty. So that's as easy as that. That's everything they were asking for. I have to save the web page as sales form, and once I do that, you get 20 marks. Don't forget to do the JavaScript from the exam, because it's a lot of marks from the exam and it's not really difficult.